Hey y'all, it's been like 4 months since I did a recording and I'm trying to get back into this. So I wanted to come on here so I can do my review of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom that premiered this weekend on Netflix. And I had to do this one because this was Chadwick Boseman's last performance before he transitioned. And it was good, y'all. This was honestly his personal best performance. It really was. He saved the very best for last. Okay, so this movie is directed by George C. Wolfe. He's done many projects that I actually you'd have to look him up to see them all. Denzel Washington produced on this project, and I'm gonna start with the cast here. So we have Ma Rainey, who's played by Viola Davis. We know her from How to Get Away with Murder, The Help, the movie The Help, Widows, and Fences that she starred in with Denzel Washington. She is an Academy Award winning actress, and if you don't know who she is, you need to look her up. Okay. Then we have Levy, the character, who is played by Chadwick Boseman, and he has a slew of movies, starting with 42, 21 Bridges, of course, Black Panther, and The Five Bloods, which is also available currently on Netflix. Then we have the character Dusty May, and she is played by Taylor Page, and I know her from Hit the Floor. She was also in White Boy Rick in Sidebar. In real life, her man is Jesse Williams. You know, the light skinned, blue eyed, freckled brother from Grey's Anatomy. It's her man. All right, then we have the character Toledo, who's played by Glenn Turman, and he's been acting my entire life. He's from Cooley High, he's from A Different World, the show, he's from Gremlins and The Wire, and most recently, right before this project, I watched him in the last season of Fargo. Now, I have never watched any of the seasons of Fargo, but when I saw previews for this one and Chris Rock was in it, I knew how to watch it, and it did not disappoint. Honestly, Chris Rock and Glenn Turman's performances were like the best in that show. All right, so then we have a character Cutler, and he is played by Coleman Domingo, and he's from Fear the Walking Dead, and he's also from Euphoria. And then we have a character Slow Drag. He's played by Michael Potts, and he's from True Detective, show on HBO, The Wire, also on HBO, and he's also from God Friended Me, a show on regular TV. All right, so man, okay, so this movie took place in 1927, and it starts off at the beginning down in Barnesville, Georgia. That's where Ma Rainey is actually from. And at the beginning, they show her in Georgia where she's doing a performance. And this is your first time seeing her, you know, of course, performing. And you're able to see Ma has a sultry, vivid, almost mesmerizing kind of voice with the jazz that she's singing. It's so perfectly put together along with her performance because she takes her gift and she's able to sort of throw out the reins to the audience and bring them in. You can feel it. Like she is so excellent at that. And now Ma Rainey, she's a dark skinned black woman, and apparently the makeup that they had on her, it looked like I don't even know what to say, y'all. It was bad, bad make. It looked like a wax job on the face, but apparently that's how it looked when she was performing back then. Now I don't know if that was because it was so hot and it just immediately melted, or the lights on her. I don't know, but ooh, it was not flattering. Okay, so let me see. So basically, you see her do the performance back, you know, the first one, and then the next thing you see is her in Chicago, Illinois. Now, this entire movie takes place in Chicago, Illinois after that first performance. And what you're able to see there is that Ma Rainey was a top dog when she was down south. Like, everyone knew her, loved her. It was able for her to do her thing down there because she was amongst her people. Because back then, segregation was so seriously segregated that black people had their own neighborhoods, businesses, music, everything was ours, and we were very good at that. but everybody seemed to want a piece of it because a black man can't have a damn thing to himself. So basically, it led to opportunities for musicians who were down south to come up north, only to find that they were basically sitting amongst the same conditions, just not quite as out in your face as they were down south. Anyway, you saw that when she went up north, Ma Rainey had to fight for everything. She had to demand her respect. She had to make moves accordingly because she knew that the people in the music industry that were trying to get her to record for them, they was only out to try to take from her and do that, basically amongst any means, get what they wanted from her and leave her with nothing. And she was very good about maneuvering her way amongst this crap. Basically, she talked back. She had pride about her. She carried herself in a way that she demanded respect to everybody around her, as well as the police. And you see that in this movie. Okay, so basically, the entire movie is one day, her and her band members. She has 4 band members who come together. It's her girlfriend, it's her nephew. They're all coming together so that they can make music and it be recorded by the record executives, basically, and her manager. So it's a small cast. What I do want to say about this movie, a whole lot of this movie, aside from the songs that are being recorded, is dialect. There's no crazy action here. It's a lot of talk back and forth. It's a lot of banter amongst the band members. This movie is only an hour and 30 minutes long, but what you see amongst the whole thing is that when you have that much dialect going on in a movie, you have to have strong acting. And they did not disappoint with the performances that they gave in this one. Okay? So early on there, you see the band members coming to the place where they're going to record. You see Levy, Chadwick Boseman's character, he's late getting there because he had come across a shoe store that was selling a pair of shoes that he wanted. And real quick, they did an excellent job at bringing the 20s to the camera with the fashions, the buildings, the cars, the hairstyles, the way they wore their makeup, the way they spoke. The 20s were just perfectly portrayed in this. And Chadwick Boseman's character is, he found a pair of shoes, at the glass window. He's doing the shopping there, and he finds these shoes that were $8.50. $8.50, a very nice pair of dress shoes, okay, just so you have an idea of what money we're talking about then. All right, so he's late to get there with the guys, and basically he ends up walking in bragging about his shoes, showing them off. And the reason he's doing so is because one of the band members, Cutler, that he was gambling with, he won 4 of those dollars from him when gambling. So this is their banter back and forth. He's bragging, I got these shoes, I won the money from you, yada yada. All right, so let me see. Then we see, I got all off track, y'all. Okay. Basically, they're all talking and waiting because Ma Rainey is not there yet. Her manager is pissed, white guy, she's not there yet, trying to accommodate everything to being set up correct. That way, when she gets there, they can immediately go into recording. They start practicing, basically. And when they start practicing, Levy insists that they play his versions of the song. Says that he worked out a deal with Mr. Irvin, the manager, and the manager agreed that they would do his versions of the songs. And the band members like, nah, we do Ma's version. So the manager actually comes in and they ask him, and he's like, yeah, you have to do Levy's version. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll see when Ma gets here, basically, because Ma reigns fire. Like, she is not here for any garbage, okay? Then we see Ma, she's leaving a hotel that she was there at with her girlfriend and with her young nephew, Sylvester. They're leaving the hotel, and it's almost like her nephew's there for show. Like, that hotel probably wouldn't allowed her to be there with her girlfriend, so she has her nephew with her to make it look like something else. And if you could see the look of disgust on these people's faces that are in the hotel, black hotel, okay? Tons of black folks there, but looking down their noses at her like she ain't shit, okay? So again, we're back to the guys who are practicing, doing their thing. Let me see. They do show a clip from a previous performance where Ma was doing her excellent singing, and Levy, he plays a trumpet. And real quick, I watched the after part of this when they were talking about the direction with the directors, making the movie. Chadwick actually went in and learned how to play the trumpet to get the fingering right when he played, to where any other fellow trumpet player would see him and know that he knew exactly what the hell he was doing. That's how far he took his performance here. But anyway, in this performance, they're showing Ma doing her thing, excellent job. And it's like Levy is desperate for the spotlight. So while she's up there singing, when it's his turn, he walks up to the front and he's going off. And mind you, no one else has done this when they have their part of the song. But he needs that spotlight, he needs that moment. So he walks up and they actually put the spotlight on him, and you can see Ma getting pissed, like, hello. So she steps back up to the mic, to sing, and it takes the spotlight off him and back to her. And that's like sort of the perfect presentation between these two relationships, the two of them during the movie. They do not get along, okay? It's a business relationship, and Ma's the spotlight, and Levy wants it. That's what we see here. Levy is not a likable character. He's a braggadocious. He's all kinds of crap, basically. But anyway, um, the guys are still practicing and they're bantering back and forth, and basically it feels like a barber shop type feel, okay? Because you all know when guys go get their haircuts, all the conversation that takes place in the barber shop there. And yes, I know I have two boys that I spent a lifetime taking to the barber. All right, let me see. So they have this conversation basically, and one of the members is telling a story of a man who sold his soul to the devil basically. And Levi claims that he wishes that he could, that he would even help sign others up for it basically, because that's how he wants success and like the spotlight on him. And Levy, I'm sorry, I hope I said that right. His character makes me uncomfortable. Like, he is not of the same morals or values as a regular kind of person. It's very clear. It's uncomfortable how low he's willing to go. Basically, is what I feel watching this. Let me see. Then we see Ma. She's being driven to the recording session, and her nephew's doing the driving. Her and her woman are in the back, and right when they find the location, they have a car accident. I I didn't even get clear as far as whose fault it was. I don't think it was Ma's nephew's fault, but whatever. So an accident happens, and when it happens, Ma gets out of the car because she's talking to the guy they had an accident with, and immediately you see like she's surrounded by all these white men that are on the street, all these white men and a police officer, and immediately my mind goes to The Color Purple, because we all know what happened with Oprah Winfrey when she clocked that fool in the street. Okay, but that's immediately where my mind went. All right, so she's going back and forth with a cop, and her manager just happened to step outside because he had bought lunch for the band members, and he sees what's going on, so he runs out there, and Ma Rainey is literally like, "You better talk to these fools. You better tell them who I am. You better tell them who I like." You gotta respect that woman. Shoot, I'm like, damn. Anyway, her manager ended up paying the police officer off, and he makes everybody leave, and it's like the whole accident goes away. And her manager ends up sending her car to the shop to get it fixed while she's there recording. Like, Ma's got some power. She does. Okay. So, anyway, through all this, man. Okay, so when she goes in, Ma can hear the band practicing, and she's like, "What the hell's going on? I need y'all to do my songs my way, my version." And he's like, "No, no, no, we already agreed we're gonna do it." And she's like, "No, we're doing it my way." All right, so he ends up having to go check them basically and tell them we're doing it Ma's way. And I'm gonna try to get to this quickly, y'all, because I don't want this to be too long. Basically, when they get in there, Ma's nephew, she wants him to record speaking at the intro of this song. She says she wants him to do it. That way, when he gets paid, he can send some money to his family. It's a good thing. And the problem is when they actually start to listen to him, the band members and her manager, he stutters. Like, he really stutters. He can't get a sentence out without stuttering. And they're like, he can't do it because he can't stop stuttering. And she's like, he's going to do it as many times as he needs to until it gets done, period. Okay? And it's funny because when they do actually start recording, they end up having to do take after take after take because this boy's stutter just kicks right in, kicks right in. Like I said, not a sentence out without the stutter. Then, about 8 takes in and wasted records being thrown in the trash, he finally gets it right. And then they do a full shot through the whole song, and it's perfect. They're like, yes, this is gold. As soon as they're done recording, they're celebrating, they're happy. And then the man up in the studio, the record exec, realizes they weren't actually recording. Something was wrong with the microphone. It didn't pick up, and Ma is pissed. So Ma's grabbing stuff and she's trying to leave, and her manager is chasing her down. Come on, Ma, we got to do this. These are going to be hits, da da da. And she ends up coming back, insisting that they get her 3 Cokes. She wants cold Cokes because the building that they're recording in, it's like it has to be the dead of summer because it's hot as hell. Everyone complained about that. Ma needed a fan. Ma's sweating like a pig, okay? And I'm confused because she's the only one sweating like a pig. But anyway, they end up taking a break, and while they're doing this, Ma's having a conversation with one of the band members, just talking about the importance of jazz to her life. She doesn't like silence. And lo and behold, her little girlfriend is down in another room with Levy. They going at it, y'all. They getting it, okay? So when they come back to do the recording, Ma and Levy are not good. They do the recording, they get it all done, but when they're finished, Ma is telling him, like, what the heck were you playing? Levy is still trying to do his own version of the music while the entire band is following Ma's suit and doing her business. And it sticks out to her. It's still, the music is still doable, but it's not exactly what she wanted, and she's checking him for it. And this fool ends up going off. He's gonna start his own band, and he's been writing his own music, and he's like, I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna get there. And he's like, if you don't like it, you can fire me. And she was like, all right then, nigga, you fired. And he's like, that's fine with me, that's fine with me. And it's like, at this moment, you can see a few things take place here, because it's the end of their recording, and Levy ends up going with the other bandmates into they're getting their stuff together, getting ready to leave. And Levy has a freak out moment. But during this freak out moment, he ends up talking about he's cursing God, y'all. He's cursing God. And he's going off saying that God don't give a damn about black folks. Why would he put us in the positions that we're in? And I must say, I don't think there's a black person on the planet who's wondered this exact thought many times. Not just about us, but wrongs when it comes to innocent or good people as a whole, period. And I'm not saying we are innocent all the time, but I'm just saying, damn. Okay, so from there, he goes on to tell a story about some horrible act that happened to his mother that he witnessed when he was younger, and how it affected him, and how he watched his mother call out to God, asking God to help her, to save her, only to be ignored and have the unthinkable done to her by white men. And from this, you're able to understand and grasp who Levy is, how he got here, how his morals and values that he might have been raised with, they went out the window because of things that he was subjected to during his lifetime. And there was no therapy back then, okay? So basically from there, you see an incident that takes place with a band member that accidentally steps on Levy's shoe. Levy loses his shit. Even though the guy apologized, and he takes a knife to him. And you see that with this character, Levy, he is his own kryptonite. He's the worst thing that could have happened to himself. But it was also being turned away by the record exec. He had given him songs, and he's like, oh, can we record them? I got a band I want to do this with. And the record exec's like, no, these aren't any good. I'll give you $5 a pop. That's the best I can do. Only to swindle him and have some soulless white group record his songs. I mean, when you hear the recordings, you could feel the difference between when Ma Rainey and her band was recording and this flavorless white group that performed Levy's songs, which is a whole nother issue that took place back then called race records, is when they would, like they were trying to do Ma. Anyone who had talent, they would find a way, just like they do today with these shit contracts that they put these artists in. This was their way to get you to give them the magic and for them to make the money off it and give you little droppings. It's the exact same thing today, but this is how it started. And the back story with this that I watched, that it came from Paramount. Paramount Records were the ones they were focusing on, but hell, we know it was all over. Anyway, this movie was excellent. I would give this movie like a 9, 9.5. There's buzz about Chadwick Boseman getting an Oscar buzz here. He deserved it. He deserves an award. Viola Davis does too, for that matter. That woman put on weight for this character and killed the role all around. I highly recommend y'all see this movie, and I'm glad we have one more thing of Chadwick's to see before that was left for us to see. Anyway, I hope y'all like my review. Give me a like if you like the video. Leave a comment if you notice anything. And thank you so much for watching, y'all. It's been a minute. Take care. Bye-bye.